We're back. It's the FTD fan phone in on XS Manchester. I am Adam McCullough. We have got Joe in the house, my co-host with the most.
Good evening. How are we? Are we doing all right? Looking, Jay's laughing already. Not even introduced him. How you doing, Adam? You well?
I'm good, yeah. Nice of Webby to turn up this week.
Yeah, cheers, Webby. Had your wings last week, Webby, so apologies for that.
I'm absolutely fuming.
You're fuming about that. Webby, good to have you back. You trip to Northern Ireland, was it?
Oh.
You've not mentioned it.
No. I'm going to mention it now. What a great setter. You know, we've heard about the past, what's happened there, but unbelievable now. Big thanks to Jason, Deacle, Michael, Shanna, and all the people who looked after me and Vicky, yeah? They looked absolutely, and obviously I had a few hours with David Healy as well, but I will be
And you touched George Best's bed.
Yeah, that was, actually being in his house, it's something I said to myself, I couldn't make the funeral. So I went over there, paid my respects, went into his house, got invited in by the family. Unreal, any red who can get there, you've got to do it, mate, because he was the best.
Can I just say, Webby got caught by the spirit in the sky as well. He was in the garden
of George Best's garden.
And miraculously, his back and his legs were fine, and he did 80 kick-ups.
They were talking about you 100 years' time.
Hope so.
The Webby miracle.
It was, but no, seriously, if you get a chance to go and pay respect.
Nice one.
Jay, how you doing, Jay? You joining us on the phone in. Are you good? No miracles?
Listen, enough from me. Let's hear more about Webby's trip to Belfast. Go on, Webby.
No, we can't do that. So we got Paul Pogba to talk about, and we got you to have your say. We need your phone in. We're going to be obviously talking about this whole Pogba situation, which Adam will share a light on in a second. But if you want to get in touch, we've had so many calls already before the show. This is your chance to have your say in Full-Time Devils. 0345 111 7625. Come and have your say, because things got,
And what I will say is, thank you, Paul LaBille Pogba, for actually giving us loads to talk about today, because it's the international break.
I know.
We're on the FTD fan phone in, and we're thinking, what are we going to talk about today? And then we check the news. Paul Pogba's going absolute mad with some quotes, but we're also hearing there may be a little bit of a mistranslation, but we'll be getting calls in, and we'll be getting thoughts from the guys in the studio on Paul Pogba's future at Manchester United. The first quote that we saw that circulated was this one. My future is currently at Manchester. I still have a contract. I'm playing there at the moment, but who knows what will happen in the next few months.
It's the but who knows what would happen bit that just gets
been there before.
It reminds me of Ronaldo's only God knows.
God only knows.
Apparently this is the real quote. He was asked about his future with Mourinho at United, and he said, my future, like his, is also at Manchester. I still have lots of years on my contract. So for the time being, I am at Manchester. After that, who knows what will happen?
not who knows again.
Right, so there's two sort of fans that read this. There's Webby and there's Adam. There's the split, because you, initially, when you came into the meeting beforehand, were fuming.
Oh, yeah, I was fuming, but obviously Adam's put me right and shown me the proper quote. But you got to look at, he's saying that about the club. Adam's got his opinions, I've got mine. But if he had said that about the club, I look at one player who I managed to watch in the 80s, Brian Robson, absolute player, carried my team for a good few years on his own. He might not have said it, but Paul's got to come out and stop speaking to these reporters. He either wants to stay or he wants to go. We fought hard to get him back after what had happened in the first place. Now, we know what he can do on his day. He can be, or will be, or we've seen that in the World Cup a few months ago. Does he want to stay? I hope he wants to stay. I know Adam is a big fan of his. Jay's a big fan.
What I will say is, though, Webb, I know you say kind of like me and Webby have a difference of opinion. We don't have a difference of opinion. Look, Paul Pogba coming out and talking about this stuff when he's away from Manchester United is frustrating to me as it is anybody else. I don't want to hear our best players coming out and saying this stuff. I'd rather they just shut up, or, if you're going to come out and talk, say you want to be here forever or whatever, that would be the ideal world. I just see that. I'm not surprised that some players are unhappy, but nevertheless, I don't want this to be going on. I don't want to be hearing like we did with Ronaldo all the time, and like we have in the past with certain things. We had it with Jose and PSG earlier in the year.
Yep.
It's frustrating. We need it to be settled at the club, and at a time when everything feels like a circus at the moment, no matter what's going on, you don't want to hear this. But then maybe it could be the press are capitalising on the circus at the moment. Let us know, guys, what your opinions are on it, and get your thoughts in on what you think about the Paul Pogba quotes. It's the FTD fan phone in here on XS Manchester. Jay, what are your thoughts?
Well, you've just summed it up when you said a circus. That's how I feel at the minute. And it's a shame because even every time you think it's been diffused and you think it's sorted, like when Jose gave Pogba the captaincy, I thought, right, that's going to put it to bed a little bit now. And then he came out after the match, the Leicester game, and said, if I said certain things, I'd get fined. Now we go into an international break. You think it's all died down again. We think, we'll just beat Burnley. Let's have a break, come back, and let's try and, get a winning run together.
Do you think Pogba will be satisfied with leaving without even winning the league? Because I think that's a bit. If he was alluding to leaving, then I think that's a bit disgraceful for a player of his caliber. He should be thinking about captaining United and helping us win the league. I think he's got everything to do that. When I look at all the other teams, United on paper, and not even just on paper, I feel like we've got a team that can challenge for the title and win the league. I don't know if you guys are probably say different to that, but I don't. Come on, the other day, look, Darmian's been pants forever. The other day he came on and he looked like a superb player. Like, all these players have got it in their locker to give us a 10 out of 10 match throughout the season. So I feel like I don't know, and I feel like the fans everyone's a bit in hysterics as well. So that we need to calm down and just see how things go.
I think that's a great point by Theo, that everything that comes out about United at the moment, it creates craziness.
Yeah, it's amplified.
It's like Pogba could have come out and said this a year ago. No one probably would have batted an eyelid. And I think because it's coming out now when we've lost 2 out of 4 Premier League games, it's one of our worst starts to a campaign.
Do you know what Jay said before, and you said as well, Adam, is that the Leicester game, when I seen him with the captain's armband, I got a buzz thinking this would all be put to bed. He's going to be our future captain. He's going to thrive on that. And then Tony comes back and he gets the armband. Now, no disrespect to Antonio Valencia, has been a great player for us. Great player, but wasn't that the right decision to keep the young kid with the armband and give him, is it the biggest club in the world? I'm the captain of the biggest club in the world. And then to take it back off him, in that, I
don't think Jose ever said it was his captaincy.
No, but I would have loved to have seen that.
Yeah.
But again, though, he didn't. He got the armband at the end of the Leicester game in his post-match interview. He said, I can't say what I want to say because I'll get fined. So it wasn't like it put it to bed. It was like, I'm still not happy.
Before the game, when we heard he's playing, after coming back to start of that week, and with the captain's armband, I got a buzz going into my seat that night. And then obviously there was comments afterwards about he can't say, and then I was deflated again.
And then as well, was it the Brighton game, I think, performance-wise, was his worst performance I've ever seen him have in a United shirt.
It does look like a big power battle,
terrible,
moment, doesn't it? Between Ed Woodward, Paul Pogba,
as you said,
Jose
Adam,
Mourinho.
you keep using the word circus, and that's what it is at the minute.
It's a circus, and it's an absolute joke. We're the biggest club in the world, and like you're saying, the press are getting on it and they're loving it.
When Fergie had a big ego, like obviously Pogba is, there was something he'd do, he'd just get rid.
Yeah.
Do you just think United can't afford to do that Pogba way, get rid?
Do you think if we let go of Pogba, because when we were bringing in these big players, it was a sign that we could compete on any level. Do you think it's a sign we're going backwards if we let a player like that go? Yeah.
Do you know what? Theo hit the nail on the head there when he talked about winning the league. When Ronaldo wanted to leave, or said he was unhappy and, he did want to leave, when Rooney was flirting with leaving, they'd already won things. They'd won the league, they'd won Europe, they'd won the Champions League. Pogba's not done that yet. Yeah, we've won a couple of trophies. We finished a distant second to City. You think, if we'd won the league last season and he was coming out of this, I'd say, all right, then fair enough, he wants to go to Barcelona, we've won the league. We've been successful, but he's still got a lot to prove for me at United. I thought when he came back, he had unfinished business, and I still think he's got unfinished business.
Definitely has.
I don't think we came back with an £89 million price tag to win, no disrespect to them trophies, the League Cup and the Europa, and then leave.
Could it be
distant second to City?
If it is true and he does actually want to leave, could it be something that whereby this summer he's seen that the club aren't really looking to compete for the big trophies? And maybe this is going to be the start of something we begin to see regularly.
If you look at it, the league last year, we was a million miles behind that mob.
Yeah.
A million miles. When it hurts.
We never challenged.
Never.
No. Come Christmas, it had gone. You know what I mean? And we say about when we beat them 3-2, we had 10 minutes in the game, didn't we? Let's be right, it could have been 4 to 5 at half time and we couldn't have complained. So this summer, it was so much that we got closer to City. And at the moment we're not. I'm afraid I'm telling the truth. It hurts me to say, but we're not.
Well, they've improved as well. They've got Mendy's come back in. They bought Mahrez I think they brought the record for him. And we've brought in Fred and the lot and Lee Grant.
I'm going to say,
no disrespect to them players, but that's not going to get us closer to City, is it? Let's
see what Bao thinks, though. We got Bao waiting on the line 1. Bao, your thoughts on the circus that is Manchester United at the moment?
How you had it, mate? I'm absolutely. Obviously, I think United are going to do something this year. I don't know if we're going to win the league, but I think in the cup run, I think we're going to do something decent. Like, but I'm sick of death of these deluded Liverpool fans in September getting completely gassed up, man. It's like,
listen, don't worry about them. They're absolute clowns. Don't worry about them. It'll all fall away. Don't worry.
What do you realistically think United are going to do this season then? You say a good cup run. You still there, Bal? Oh, yeah. But what do you think about the league?
I'd be happy with a semi-final Champions League and an FA Cup.
FA Cup win or just a semi-final in that as well?
Nah, man, win. There's nothing like... Last year was shit, wasn't it? Get into the...
I got it. I caught it. Don't worry. People listening on air now will have not a clue what just happened.
Other than our reaction.
People watching on YouTube. That was a naughty word, that. He said it, but I got it. I hope I got it. Anyway, I pressed the right button. Right, we are going to take a little break. I've got a question for you. Are you ready for the question?
Go on.
This is me and Chris come up with these every week. It's going to get you. Yeah. Who has scored the most penalties for Manchester United? You need to text us 87711. Ever. Put it in the comment section on YouTube and Facebook. We'll read out some of the winners. Who has scored the most Premier League? I'm going to go wash my mouth out, my ears out. Who has scored the most penalties for Manchester United ever? I nearly had a heart attack.
Go have a rest.
Right. We'll be right back after this.
Excess Manchester. This is the Manchester Football Social. Full-time Devils takeover.
Yeah. The FTD fan phone-in is back for the second part of the show, and in this part of the show we are talking Burnley. But remember, if you're calling into the show, you can still talk about whatever you like. If you want to speak about Paul Pogba, Jose Mourinho, Ed Woodward, whatever you want to talk about, feel free to get your calls in. Joe,
yes,
how can they call in?
You can call in 0345 111 7625. Love to hear you got some good ones lined up. I've got my quiz as well. Did you all get the answers to that?
I guess.
Who scored the most penalties for United? Rude Van Nistelrooy. What have you gone for?
I'm going to go Ronaldo.
Really? I could tell you, it was a trick question. There was 2 answers. It was Wayne Rooney and Ruud van Nistelrooy, both joint there.
I had both of them, by the way.
Did you have both of them?
I
think
both.
You did, yeah. Right. Well done anyway.
Don't
well done.
think you know, Joe.
Yeah, okay.
He's wrote it down. Yeah.
You wrote it down after I told you, Webb.
I saw your hand scribbling.
No,
we got it on camera.
We won't say that.
Webby cheating again. We have got some calls lined up as well, but we want to talk about Burnley first. So before we go to Akeem, who is lined up on line 1,
stay there, Akeem.
We're going to go to Jay for Jay's thoughts on Burnley 0, Manchester United 2. What did you make of it?
I mean, people going on about how Burnley were knackered, Burnley with this, Burnley with that, but you can only beat what's in front of you, and I thought it was a great performance by United. I did.
Great.
I thought we looked comfortable. I thought we didn't really look in any trouble, even when we went down to 10 men. I thought we could have had 5 or 6. On another day, we should have had another penalty. They should have gone down. I think they should have gone down to 9 men, to be honest with you. Yeah. I think Bardsley and the other kid, is it me? Both should have gone. So it's the sort of performance, if that was under Fergie, you'd be like, yeah, business as usual.
Phil Bardsley is an interesting one, isn't he? Boyhood Manchester United fan.
Yeah.
Came through at the club.
Salford.
He's played us twice.
Salford.
Once he dived against us to win a penalty.
Is that Sunderland when he...
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Where are they now, by the way? League 1, is it? They're still doing the
Poznan in the way through League 1.
And then getting Rashford sent off. Do you think there was a little bit of jealousy there?
Thing, that
bitterness?
No, I don't know, man. He's always that type of player.
He's that kind of player. Yeah, he winds it up, you know. It was bad what he did, but Marcus,
to be honest with you,
just walked away, laughed at him.
I'm not even having a go at Barnsley. John Moss, I thought, had a shocker.
Absolutely. He can't keep up with play.
What a stinker. What was he doing?
Do you know what, years ago, when obviously I'm older than you boys, unfortunately,
just a touch,
and you used to see the referees obviously complaining about having the day job, and now the professionals have these camps. He can't run. I can run better than him. Do you know what I mean? What's that all about? He can't keep up with play.
You were quicker in George Best Back Garden than he was.
Webby and you, 100-metre sprint.
I'll take him all day long.
Let's have a charity sprint.
Yeah. How bad is
charity sprint we'll film. We do live.
It's terrible, you know.
Couple of laps to the studio.
Like you said, obviously, we should have another penalty. They could have had a couple now because he was too fat and too far behind play. And it's disgraceful. He's getting money, what he's getting, and that could, you know what? That could be, say, Burnley versus Leicester in April. He's that far behind playing, he makes a bad decision. One of them get relegated, lose millions, lose jobs. The referee's like
the economy goes down the toilet.
Yeah, because the referee
the
like
goes to rack and ruin. It's all over.
Not only Brexit,
seriously.
John Moss.
Unemployment goes through the roof because John Moss can't keep up with play.
If you perform like that at work in Ajo, what, you get sacked.
Yeah.
So,
Joe is getting sacked.
I've had a couple of bad days.
Yeah.
If that's where we went through, then that would have been my John Moss. So, right, let's go to Akeem, because I think Akeem wants to bring a bit of positivity too. Are you ready? Do you want to lift the knob up? Yeah.
Akeem, speak to me, brother.
What you saying, man? What you saying, guys? You guys all right?
Very well, Akeem. Keep it.
Good. I'm trying to put a positive spin on the season. It's a bit of a mad one, but listen, think about it, lads. This is the first time we're going to see a manager get to take over United for a third season. LVG, obviously second season he was out, and Moyes didn't even make it to the end of the season. Now, remember, lads, the Premier League, every season is different. Yes, everybody's scared of City and scared of Liverpool, and they're the mighty and they will never fall ever again. Amen, whatever. But remember, Mourinho is a tactical genius. He can't go that long without a title, and he knows that Manchester United is one of, if not the biggest club in the world that he can ever get job-wise, because he's already done the Madrids and the Inters and whatnot, so there's no more bigger. He needs this title, and I think he's going to mastermind to do it ugly, but he's going to do it. Now, it's not going to be easy, lads, but we've got to stick with him. We've got to stick together in this time of need. Woodward obviously not on his side, so we need to just gather together, keep the positivity, scream our lungs out at Old Trafford and away games and that, and I'm sure that the title will be soon coming home. I'm hoping so anyway.
Akeem,
Love
I mean,
that,
that
Akeem,
is
yes.
what 2 minutes there.
Brilliant.
Buzzing Webby.
Very passionate fan. You know what I mean? We know what Mourinho's like. We spoke about it before, obviously, what he did at Chelsea and at Madrid and at Inter, and it's disappointing that with a long way behind City. So, will he get the time? I think he'll be gone at the end of the season, personally.
But I think Akeem makes a point, like, should get behind him this season.
Yeah, you got to just
at least, even if you're not totally pro Jose, give him to the end of the season. I think personally he's earned
That's
that.
one of the things that
just get behind him and get behind the team. Even if you're not going behind the manager, get behind the team. He made a great point there. Just sing it out, get behind the lads, and then at the end of the season, you can assess it.
I think that's one of the things, like the big things, like that I love about a lot of, especially the away support, but like especially for me as well. When you go to a game outside a stadium, say what you want.
Yeah.
Inside, I'm screaming Mourinho's Red Army like a madman. Even though deep down I know there's issues there, and like Webby, I really don't think he'll be here this time next season. But let's hope for the best. Let's get behind him. And that's why I was frustrated with him in the summer. Because ahead of his third season, he came into it saying it's going to be a bad season and it's going to be this, it's going to be that. And I'm just one of those guys that wants to feel positive energy. And I think if the fans feel it, the players will feel it. And at the moment, everyone from top to bottom, it's just kind of like a negative energy. And that's why I feel the siege mentality he's kind of built by taking the fans in could be a big stroke by him, because it may force some of his players to say, the ones that maybe thought he was going to get sacked, that okay, he's here for good now, the fans are behind him, looks like we're going to have to get behind him, and it may just force the team together again.
The thing I've always said about Mourinho is no matter what, he's a winner. He wants to win, and he's desperate to win a title at United. He obvious from that, and especially after what happened at Chelsea, he doesn't want to get sacked from another job in the Premier League. He wants to win, and everything he does, even if we don't agree with it, he is trying to win football matches, and there he might upset a lot of people along the way, but he is a winner, and that's what we need. We need that mentality, and if we can get that mentality in some of our players as well, I think, are we going to win the league? No, I don't think we'll win the league this season, but I think we can win silverware, and I think we can have a successful season.
So whose fault is that then? Because we are in September, and we're saying we're not winning the league. How is that right? This is what frustrates me, because people are making excuses for the manager, but it's August, September, we've lost 2 out of 4 games, and we're out of
It's not even that, though, Matt. To be honest with you, for me, we needed this summer to go big, to catch City, and we didn't. We sort of did the right thing with Fred. I thought bringing him in, the lot as well. Grant, that's really bad to buy a third choice keeper, being honest. But we needed to go that little bit more than what we have done to catch City. We're not going to catch City by improving less than they have.
But with or without a centre half, we should be beating Brighton.
Oh yeah,
indeed.
Don't get me wrong.
You said about a success. It will be a success. What is for you this season a success?
For me, it's silverware. I'm not interested in semi-finals and losing finals, and no disrespect to people that are. But we know that other teams have a party just by getting to the final. I don't look at it as that as a success. Winning trophies is a success to me. I'd rather win the League Cup than finish fourth and win nothing.
Yeah,
I would.
What do you think is a success this season, Webby?
Same as Jay said, it's silverware. That's what you get looked upon. Managers and players, silverware. Like you're saying, there's teams who get excited about getting to the final. We got to get to a final and win the final.
Yeah.
What do you think is a success, Adam? This season?
I'll be honest with you. Yeah, I just want to go into April feeling like we can win the league.
I
haven't felt that in a long time, and that I was so disappointed in. Like, the reason I feel so disappointed in Jose Mourinho is because I expect we should have been there by now.
You were very confident when you last season.
We're going to challenge for the league. This is the year. Mourinho will get it spot on, and it just didn't ever come to fruition. And I feel like most of the problems are down to him, although there's a few that aren't, like buying a centre half, which against Spurs. I was watching that game thinking, oh, Alderweireld, you should be in this.
I know.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a different story of his as well, isn't it? It's a different feeling.
It is.
This is your phone in, by the way, 0345 177 We've got someone calling from Texas. Do you want to, do you think?
In the US of A, Jameson in Texas.
Hey, boys, how's it going?
Oh, Wilson, how you doing, mate? You well?
Yeah, doing well. Hey, I just wanted to, say long-time listener and fan. I kind of want to go back and talk about Paul Pogba and agree, with Webby's comments about him saying that, he was really giddy. And, when Pogba got given that armband to start the season, I was totally up for it. I was excited. And then to hear his comments after the game and just see the way that he's progressed so far this season. And then, even going back to last year, let's just take out the City game, for example, take away that. He is just not, in my opinion, a true leader. And what he does with France is totally different. You see the passion there. You see the players come out and say that, he's running the show. He's a true leader. You see all his speeches. You hear nothing about that in the United camp. Nothing. And he's going to come out and say his attitude is poor. Any captain that says that is not a captain. Anyone that can go out there and say that is just not a captain whatsoever. Like, you have to be there to put the team on your back when times are rough. All he does is put his head down and just show a lack of effort. Like, the Brighton game is one thing that I'll never be able to, forgive him about, but it was a really letdown because I expect so much of him that, to me, that shows his true character, that game and just this whole season. And, he can be here. He's a great player. I think he deserves to be on the pitch, but he's not a leader, and United need a leader, and he's just not going to be that guy for us.
Great call, Jameson. Think about leader, and I agree with him, by the way. There were no real leaders in football. We were recording a top 10 today in the studio when we were talking about some great battles over the years, and I was looking at some of them, and the Keanos, the Robbos, there's no lead in, not just United, anywhere in football. Why is that, do you think?
I think the game's evolved a little bit from those days. Like Roy Keane, Brian Robson, don't get me wrong, they'd be amazing in any era, but the sort of things they got away with in their era, you won't get away with now, you won't be able to score
cameras will be on
in that sort of way. And I think the mentality of a lot of players as well, if you had someone like a Roy Keane in a modern day team screaming at players, a lot of players would crumble. Mm-hmm. Back in the day, you rose to that occasion, players were made of stern and stuff. I think if you had someone like Keane breathing out United, players just go missing. I think it'd be counterproductive almost in this day and age, and I think that's what we're seeing. It's sort of, the mentality has evolved a little bit, and yet you're right, I don't think we do see true leaders anymore. Even like the successful teams, you can argue City have company, but he didn't play all the time. Other than him, who's their leader in their team? Who's the leader in Liverpool's team? They haven't really got a Keano type, have they?
No.
That's just the way football's gone. You don't need them leaders anymore.
I think if you look at the 80s, every team had a leader, didn't they? Everyone had the hard man who could play. Souness at Liverpool. Obviously, we had Robbo. And there was other teams, had Vinnie Jones.
By the way, that noise was Webby just smacking his mouth.
Headbutt in the microphone. When he said Vinnie Jones,
He's in a Vinnie came out.
It's like, obviously, remember the kid at Rangers too, so they could all play the game as well as be hard. We was lucky we had Remy Moses as well, who could play the game, and was hard. But like you say, now they couldn't get away with that now. I remember being at Highbury and watching Remy Moses break Paul Davies' leg. Fair tackle. it wasn't the time.
Fair tackle.
It wasn't
fair tackle, but your legs sagged off.
Stretch it off.
We've got to go to Matt in South Carolina, another American caller, because he's only got 5 minutes. He's got to go to work. Matt, you're on the Full-Time Devils takeover.
I've got a mad image of Matt sat on the toilet at work.
Yeah. Dodgy curry last night. What do you want to talk about, Matt, in your 5 minutes that you've got for us?
I just want to say we just need to be a little more positive. I know maybe the league doesn't look bright right now, but we got a lot of promising players. We got Rashford, Martial, Luke Shaw looking great. We got Pereira waiting. He shouldn't be waiting, but he's waiting. And I think we need to give Mourinho a little more time. That's all I think.
Matt, well, thank you very much, Matt.
Speaking about Pereira,
positive.
Where is Pereira?
I have to think that's strange. How
in Brazil,
bombed out.
Isn't that a flaw in his management of the younger players? Like, should he have been in the squad at least? Or
of course,
do you think it's the right thing to take him out and bring him back in?
Will he come back in though?
Well, he's spoken positively about him after the game against Burnley, to be fair.
Right, so obviously if it carries on like for the Watford game, then next time we see him, will it be the Derby game in the League Cup when he will start?
I assume so. I think that game will be the one for Delo.
Yeah.
One for probably Pereira to be brought back in.
Yeah. Grant
probably be Martial's next start. So there'll be a lot of chances for players.
It's been going on for a few years since Fergie retired. Van Gaal used to do it. Rashford's the exception. But bringing like Fosu to come in, play a few games, make a mistake, bombed out, McNair, bombed out, Blackett. I think there's a pressure on the managers now where they can't afford to give the younger players the time.
Josie always goes big in the League Cup, doesn't he? Biggest and what our previous managers used to do. So will they all get a game? Hopefully they will, because Pereira, for me, in the pre-season, he was probably one of our best players.
Yeah, we're going to take a quick call. Howard is on the phone. He's been waiting for a while. Sorry, Howard. And then we've got another one of my questions. Mate. Howard, you okay, mate?
Yeah, I'm all right, man.
What do you want to say, Howard?
To the conversation, I have a few things I actually want to say, man. Well, first of all, about that Pogba issue. I mean, you definitely know that Pogba isn't interested in being in United, or he's toying with us. And either way, whichever way it is, I don't feel it's healthy. When Fergie was here, he wasn't afraid to get rid of big names. When everybody questioned when he got rid of Van Nistelrooy, he wasn't afraid. He wasn't afraid to start Rooney when Rooney was an issue. And secondly, that Burnley performance. The Burnley performance was good, but I'm not getting carried away. We weren't scintillating, if you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there were things about it that we could have been better. We could have been a bit more energetic. That first half against Tottenham was what I'm looking for from United. And with Pogba as well, when you look at him playing for France, he's a very different Pogba. It's the discipline that you see a lot more with Pogba playing for France. Playing for us is a lot of showboating. You know what I mean? It's like, we call him Instagram football.
Instagram. Howard, thank you very much. We're running. Howard's got some good points there. I've just got to go to a quick break.
By the way, before we go to that, after the break, we want to be talking about left backs, Luke Shaw.
Yes.
And who is your greatest ever United left back?
A question for you. 116 years ago today, in 1902, what happened? That is your question of the day.
What, in general? Like a breakdown of the news for that day.
Club, 116 years ago. I bet you can't wait to find out the answer. We'll be right back after this.
Excess Manchester. This is the Manchester Football Social. Full-Time Devils takeover.
Yeah. We're back on the FTD fan phone-in, and Joe has got the answer to his question. What first happened today in 1902? On the 6th of September 1902, what happened in the club's history? Now, there's been a few funny answers on YouTube. Someone said Fergie was conceived.
Yeah, Fergie was conceived in 1902.
The day Webby was born.
That is rude, isn't it, Webby?
That is bang out of order.
That was 1903.
Someone said it was a clear day in Manchester.
That's a lie.
Jokers. Right, I can tell you. What do you think it is first, actually?
Move from North Road to Bank Street.
What do you think it is?
Chris Smalling had potential.
Smalling and Jones played well together.
What do you think it is?
I was going to say, I thought it was the first time we played as Manchester United as the name, but Macca put me straight and said it wasn't.
1905.
What? So you were thinking it's the first time United played? Yes, it is.
Yes, there you go.
1902 was the first time. Tap my buzzer. That Manchester United played as Manchester United.
Oh, it wasn't.
Redeemed myself after the penalties one.
It was 1902.
You got it wrong because you listened to me.
No, I said 1902. I said he's.
Okay.
Lots of callers lined up.
Incorrect, did you?
As well as speaking about Luke Shaw, we got lots of callers lined up, including someone who wants to talk about Fellaini. So we're gonna love to speak about him. Should we get to the Fellaini caller first before we crack on about Luke Shaw?
Yeah, you want to bring the tone down then, yeah? All right, let's do it.
Line
Marcus,
one.
16-year-old caller in London,
we can't be mean
wants
then.
to speak about Fellaini. Please do not swear.
Hello, Marcus.
Hello, lads.
Marcus, what's going on?
What do you want to talk about Fellaini?
I just think, since he's come to the club, it was a few years ago, and when I saw it, I kind of rolled my eyes. But I think he put against Burnley, put in some sort of solid performance, and he's been doing it for a while, longer than I think we've appreciated before. And often we think, it's negative football to bring someone on to win us the game with his head. But I think we need to be a bit more positive about Fellaini.
Well, very well put there, Marcus. He was eloquent with what he said.
He's wise.
Do you agree?
Beyond his years.
Probably get a job
He'll be here in about 5 years.
5 minutes.
5 minutes.
I think it was a good point from Marcus though, because what I liked from him was he did say he has his role in the team. And I think when people get his role confused is what frustrates me the most. I have no problem with Marouane Fellaini, and when we use him like we did against Arsenal last season, as a target man, I enjoy him. What frustrates me is when we more often not see him in central midfield, and I know that sounds silly because he played well against Burnley from there. Yeah, but I just feel like his lack of footballing ability doesn't help us in central midfield.
I think he suffers from being tagged as David Moyes' the Moyes era, the Moyes signing. I know Matt was signed by Moyes as well, but he always seems to suffer from that a little bit. And I think he does put a shift in. He has had some good performances, not just against Dross. I remember him playing really well against City when we beat him 4-2 at Old Trafford. He had a great game.
Smalling scored that day.
Was that 1902? So I'm one of those. I'm a Fellaini fan in that way. I think, like you say, United have always had good squad players, and he is one of them. I just think he gets a lot of unwarranted stick.
Now, what I want to do, before we go to the Luke Shaw chat, I want to set a little challenge for the guys in our YouTube comments. So this week has been the release of the Marvel film, Captain Marvel. Now, it's a female superhero, but Captain Marvel, to me, you
Robbo.
and Joel, is Brian Robson.
Yes.
So I want to ask everybody at home and in the YouTube comments to get your comments for what Manchester United player you would compared to what superhero nowadays. So like Spider-Man is...
mentioning that before. I honestly thought there was a film out about Robbo.
I did.
I was looking at pictures tonight, me and Jake.
Yeah, Captain Marvel. That's why I thought they released a Brian Robson film.
Yourself. Why can't me and Adam come?
No.
Yeah, you keep more than welcome.
Shall we get... See how they just don't invite us?
Yeah,
we only got two.
Because we didn't get Webby his wings last week.
No wings for Webby.
But yeah, Jay...
Yeah.
While we wait for a few of those answers to come through, Luke Shaw's 4 games. He's been fantastic. Called up to the England squad.
Brilliant.
What have you made of Luke Shaw?
Do you know what? I couldn't wish it. If it, one player I'd want to see shine, it's him. After what he's been through, not just the injury, the horrific injury, but also the stick that he gets, the stick he got. I remember Luke Shaw getting stick when he arrived for wearing skinny jeans and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean?
He is the wrong build.
He is the wrong build. To be fair, he's a big lad, but he got a lot of
balls and change in one pocket.
See, I'm trying to answer this question seriously.
This is a family show.
Listen, we know what he's been through. Yeah, okay, and. In the summer, he was getting stick when he was on his holiday, all these pictures. We know that Jose Mourinho's not exactly been kind towards him at times, but that's probably what he's needed because there has been questions about his motivation. He's knuckled down and he's producing the sort of form we saw before he got that horrific injury, because before that, he was our best player that season until the PSV game.
Rashid says Martial equals the Black Panther. Vidic equals Iron Man.
Yeah.
Someone else says Pogba equals Ant-Man because he goes small in a lot of games. De Gea equals Thanos. Fellaini's the Red Elbow. David De Gea, Dr. Octopus. And George Best is Iron Man because he does what he wants.
Yeah. Webby, looks like you're tearing up again, Webby.
No.
Don't mention George Best to Webby.
No, we're going on before, obviously, about talking about Luke Shaw. The best left-back I've seen at Manchester United was Arthur Albiston. What a player, 580 odd games for the club. Great player,
Better than Dennis Irwin?
Dennis Irwin's my number one.
On the par.
Yeah.
Arthur Albiston was superb, You don't pay 580 odd games for the club if you're not good enough,
that's a lot, isn't it?
Dennis Irwin was a great player, great bargain.
Any shouts for Paddy Evra?
Patrick Evra, I think
not in the classes.
For me, Irwin shades it.
Me as well. I think Dennis
I was
Irwin.
lucky enough to see Albiston, he was a great player. Arthur Albiston.
Were you the only one in this room to have seen Arthur Albiston?
I was there in the 80s, but I was a kid. It was when we started going, so I don't remember a lot.
No, but great to see Luke Shaw, obviously,
back in it.
Not so much getting back in England squad, getting in our team.
Yes,
because we know, obviously, we was there the night when he had that injury in PSV, and we looked so balanced. And obviously now with what the kid was saying before about Fellaini and Matic, it's giving our fullbacks that extra to go up, and there's Shaw in full flight. Great sight.
Right, and we've got one more call coming in now. This name is OVA, and he wants to speak about Pogba. United have slowly turned into Arsenal.
Oh, no.
OVA, what's your thoughts?
Yes, hi guys.
How you doing, mate? Okay.
I'm good. Just wanted to say, because I think there's been a lot of negativity this season, and Paul Pogba has been at the heart of it for quite a long time. For a guy that costs over 80 million, our most expensive players of that value are going onto the pitch and delivering for their teams. We overrate Paul Pogba and we say he's one of the best midfielders in the world. In what position? If he was an attacking midfielder, has he had a season where he's got the highest assists of the season? If he's a holding midfielder, has he had a season where he's won the most tackles in the league in a season? But instead, he holds us to ransom and tells us, who knows what's going to happen.
How highly do you rate Pogba then?
Realistically, if I look at the world of football today, Paul Pogba is probably in maybe less than, just below top 15 midfielders, I'd say, maybe 20.
Below the top 15 midfielders, maybe 20, who knows?
I disagree with that massively.
I'm sure the comment section will have something to do with that as well.
And one thing for me is, with Paul Pogba, I think it's disappointing to hear the kind of comments that you hear today, and I hope that they have been misquoted, and I hope it's not angling for a new deal. But Paul Pogba has been quality wherever he's been. The only time he's shown his inconsistencies is at Manchester United, and for me it feels like a manager problem.
Let's go to Imran, our final call of the night. It's been a mad show. We've got a minute left, Imran. What do you want to say?
Disagree?
I'm just going to say, you lads doing all right?
Yeah, very well, mate. Thank you for calling us tonight, mate.
No problem. Just going to quickly say, Pogba frustrates me. Last year after the City game, he did say, I can't express myself in a midfield of two, so we brought Fred. But not much has improved. So there's obviously an issue that either Mourinho or Pogba, I don't know what it is. And we've also, as a club, we've lost control. There's too much news coming out of United. Wouldn't have happened when Sir Alex was there. And lastly, before I quickly go, because I haven't got long, I want to hear your views on it. Lukaku frustrates me. The amount of chances he misses, he's no Ruud van Nistelrooy, is he? He can't afford to miss that many chances in a game. He needs to be banging them in. If United are to be positive, Lukaku needs to be on top form, and he needs to be banging in every chance he gets, because we're not going to get many chances because team play 11 men behind the ball against us.
Imran,
that's all I want to say.
Right, thank you very much, mate. Sorry I had to cut you short there. Just a minute left of the show.
I do agree with him about there being some serious leaks going on. We've got a new director of communications coming in October at the club as well.
I bet he can't wait.
Also, before we do head off, I know we've got less than a minute on the show. Full Time Devils have been nominated for a Northwest Footballer
Yes, please.
Awards. So if you're watching on YouTube, vote for us, and if you can, get online
That
and
means
vote for us.
I get a night out with you, boys.
Yes, you do. Webby,
we'll have some wings.
it's that time of the show again. Webby's final words.
Vote. Just go vote.
The link is in the description, by the way, for the vote.
We're playing like mine with Chris. What is your last word?
Last word is, we spoke about it, let's get behind the team, let's get behind the manager, see where we are at the end of the season. You know, we're United. I wasn't there at Burnley, but from the lads' accounts and what I've seen, best away following for a long time. Let's have the same again next Saturday at Watford.
Come on, United.
Right, and I'm on next XS Manchester till 11 o'clock. Bye-bye. Thank you for watching. Everyone wave. Bye.
XS Manchester.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the new Audi Q8.